And good afternoon, Wildcat fans, from the Members First Federal Credit Union broadcast booth. I am Mike Garland, joined today by Ben Shad. Breakfast with the Wildcats. We open the 2025 season live on Go Mechanicsburg. Today's web stream presented by our friends at 11 Oaks Farms in Newville. And Ben, as we sit here in the Members First Federal Credit Union broadcast booth, we are looking at two teams in the Cedar Crest Falcons and the Mechanicsburg Wildcats that both went to the postseason last year. Cedar Crest 8-4 overall. They were 4-2 in Lancaster Lebanon Section 1. They went 1-1 in the postseason. Mechanicsburg had that same 1-1 postseason mark, but a very impressive regular season for the Cats. 10-0, 9-0 in Mid-Penn Keystone, and as much as we want to sit here and look back and think fondly of what last year meant, we know that this is an all-new team with players in new positions, with young players on the varsity roster for the first time, and you pretty much have to forget about what happened last year because this year's team, they're 0-0.
Exactly, but I think there's a great foundation from last season, and while just looking at it on its own, last season was so memorable in so many ways. Definitely one of the better Wildcat football seasons in the decade, you could argue, for sure. But this new team, but Coach Dave Heckert has put together such a great foundation with this squad. They were a finely tuned machine last year, and a lot of these guys that are going to be coming up, that next man up, we lose a lot of great seniors from last year's squad, but there's still high expectations for these guys because as we were talking about it before we're getting started here with this scrimmage, there were a lot of guys who were that second squad, that next man up, who got valuable playing time against some of the better teams in last season just because of how dominant those first team guys were. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys step up, knowing that they have a lot of that game experience that if they were playing for other schools or had the year gone a little differently, that they wouldn't be able to take with them. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up this year, who becomes the next big name, but don't be surprised and don't count the Wildcats out from another possible postseason appearance this year, even without some of the big names that have moved on and graduated back in May.
Well, you have guys like Justin Bardo and Josh Smith moving on, Isaac Dolman, Eli Ryder, just to name a few, Brendan Mena. I mean, the seniors that contributed to last year's squad, absolutely irreplaceable. Willie Marshall Travis, who for all of his talents on the football field over the last couple of years will be wrestling in college this fall. But what you bring back are two Division I linemen in Colin Stair, just committed to Central Michigan, Jimmy Dwyer, who's going to Sacred Heart, plus you have Tony LaRock back, Drake Dawson, Jack DeLuca, Noah Apple, Drew Freeland, Brady Spots. So you have a handful of young men who, as you said, saw plenty of playing time last year for the Wildcats. All of those games where the Cats were blowing teams out. They put up 438 points last year, averaging 36.5 points per game, and the defense only yielded 151 or 12.5 points per game. Very impressive plus-minus ratio. And these kids saw a lot of playing time. So what we are going to have here is the start of our 10-play series with offensive and defensive ones, and the Cedar Crest offense gets the first play of the scrimmage. It's a low pass scooped by the receiver on the near side and pushed from the 20-yard line up to about the 41. So again, 10 offensive plays for the Cedar Crest starters. Head coach for Cedar Crest is Nicholas Lambros, and the Wildcat starting defense out there as well. And we don't have rosters. We don't know who any of these kids are. We do know that Jimmy Dwyer has the black pants on, double knee brace there in the middle. He is wearing 56, which I believe is going to be his standard number. Colin Stair has number 95 on today. He's on the left front side of the defensive line. The second pass play for the Falcons complete up the middle and into Wildcat territory to the 30-yard line. And that was a nice play down the middle, and the Wildcat secondary does certainly have to keep an eye on those receivers coming across the middle.
Something interesting about today's scrimmage is that we can only speculate that the Wildcats warmed up on their practice field and then arrived here by bus, whereas Cedar Crest was here around 9, maybe shortly after, and had plenty of time to warm up. So, and obviously everybody's been waiting to hit somebody that's not a teammate. That's always the best passion about opening football, even in a scrimmage like this, is that guys are ready to hit. Guys are ready to see a different color than what they're used to. You know, as much as you just love hitting in general, it just feels a lot better when it's somebody you don't know.
third play of the series for the Cedar Crest Ones, and it's the first running play of the contest, and that takes them to the 21-yard line. This Falcon team last year averaged 33.9 points a game, 8-4, as I mentioned. It was the first time in school history that they had gone back-to-back 8-win seasons in the 23 and 24 seasons, so the Falcons looking to build on that here in 25. Shotgun snap hits the turf, picked back up, and that pass is dropped in the flat on the fourth play of this series.
Yeah, interesting that, again, both these teams, they scrimmaged each other last year. We were in Cedar Crest, and so it's interesting to see that both these teams from that scrimmage on had great seasons in both of their regards, some history being made for either side. So wonder if history will repeat itself and that both these teams might be in for yet another repeat performance of their great foundations last year.
Quarterback keeper, and that's Colin Stair with the belly-to-back suplex. His head football coach, also his head wrestling coach, I believe, and I don't have Jeremy Lippard here with me as I do for wrestling. I think that's 2 points.
Probably, I would think so. It was a very impressive takedown. You could kind of hear the crowd go, oh, like that was kind of the first play to wake everybody up and like, oh, yeah, football's happening right now.
Coming up on play number 6 of this series. 10 plays with the offensive ones and defensive ones. Then they'll flip, and the Cats will do the same. Then they'll go into the second-string players. There'll be some live game action as well. Jump pass, complete on the near side. And that receiver brought down near the 20-yard line.
Nice, impressive tackle there. Going for the ankles after being beat out in the flat, just holding on to your guy. That could have been a much more impressive gain by about 5 to 10 yards. Maybe even might have had a chance at the end zone, depending on how much jump that receiver had, but wasn't able to get that acceleration because he was tied up by the ankle. Very impressive tackle there by whoever is wearing 20 for the day for the Wildcats.
I believe this is play number 7. I'm capable of counting to 10, just not remembering where I last was. So I think this is play 7. Another short pass on the left side and out of bounds right around the 6-yard line for Cedar Crest. So the Falcons looking to punch one in here before their series of 10 comes to a close. Want to thank you for tuning in live on Go Mechanicsburg. We are also breaking in a new camera operator today with Ben Shad on the mic. Dave Harris will join us for, I believe, 8 of our 10 games this year, but we want to make sure we have good, solid camera work throughout the season as well. We're going to open next week at Carlisle. Dave and I will be on the call with Ben on camera, but then week 2 we travel to Northern Lebanon as that pass is incomplete at the goal line. A nice job on the defensive side to blanket the receiver, get a hand in, and knock it away. So I was talking about that schedule and our broadcast crew setups. Week 2, it's a Saturday game. Keep that in mind, Wildcat fans. A Saturday high noon kickoff against Palmyra at Northern Lebanon High School. Palmyra's facility getting a facelift here this fall, so unable to play that game on a Friday night at Palmyra. So we will go to the beautiful facility at Northern Lebanon High School for a Saturday kick, and Ben, you'll join me for that one. So play 9 coming up. High lobbing pass, back corner, and that is caught. That was the kind of pass play last year, Ben, that we saw a lot. Eli Ryder to Josh Smith, and we'll take a look at it one more time. We saw it a lot on the maroon and steel side. That's what it looks like when the other team does it.
Just a good high arcing pass. Receiver goes up and gets it. That nice basket catch. Even if he didn't use his hands, that ball still would have hit him right on the numbers on the chest. A fantastic pass there by the quarterback. Great job by the receiver to just get down. Wasn't really trying to drag the feet so much, but he got the thigh down. He got the legs down. It all managed to work out. Nice drive there by Cedar Crest Falcons. Saw a little bit of everything. A lot of pass heavy on that offensive drive for them. So we'll see what the reverse looks like, as it looks like Mechanicsburg will take over here on offense. Or not.
Well, Cedar Crest may have one more play. If they stick to their 10 and 10 format, they should have at least one more play. Top returning players for the Falcons, as we will just add +1s on the scoreboard anytime a team scores here in this format. Another pass play off the back foot, and that pass is incomplete. So if they stick to format, that should be the final play for the Cedar Crest offense. But as I was saying, top returning players for the Falcons include Isaiah Zimmerman last year, 1,500 yards rushing, 19 total touchdowns, and Landon Klein on the defensive side. He and Garrett Starry both with 100-plus tackles and a couple of defensive touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive for head coach Nicholas Lambros. But here we bring on the Wildcat offense that last year with Eli Ryder, Isaac Dolman, and Josh Smith just put up numbers. Just very, very impressive numbers across the board. An undefeated season, first playoff win since 2008. And the numbers that Eli Ryder put up, I don't believe he threw an interception until almost week 7 or week 8. It was a very impressive year for the Cats.
It just looked like a finely tuned machine. Every time the Wildcats went out there, they just took care of business. The offense put the game away early, and they say, defense wins you championships. But, man, that offense, they just had control of every game they got themselves into. And there were so many times last season where between you, Dave, and I, we would talk and we'd say, okay, well, this team looks good, week 1 and week 2, but what about this test?
What about Noah Apple's first pass from the shotgun? Just a little wide, but the Cats putting trust in Noah Apple as he comes in and takes over from Eli Ryder. And Apple's first play from scrimmage, an incomplete pass, but you can tell that they were onto something there from the start.
Absolutely. Still want to try that deep passing attack, even though they don't have the weapons that they had last year. Still want to keep up that aggression. Don't want to just become a shell of your former self. Again, we've said it plenty of times already that a lot of these guys, they know what to expect. Just because the personnel is a little bit different, maybe a little bit younger, Coach Heckard has still put together a great program here.
A running play on play 2 from scrimmage and good for about 10 yards. Apple last year, limited quarterback play, 14 completions, 275 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a whistle.
Whoever was running the ball on that last play got hit right on the side, and guys aren't wearing the full setup for this scrimmage. So, as you can see, there's only a T-shirt protecting that hip, whoever was running that ball.
Not sure T-shirts protect hips very well.
Yeah, so that's going to smart a little bit. So these guys are hitting. They're hitting hard. Again, these guys, as much as, all the work that you do in training camp, again, when you finally see a different color jersey in front of you, you're ready to hit. You're ready to go. So these guys are not going to hold anything back, as I think we got a false start here. Somebody a little bit jumpy on that Cedar Crest line. And I think that was another thing that we haven't mentioned, Mike, was that last year a very disciplined Wildcat team. Before Coach Hecker took over, this team was very susceptible to a lot of penalties, a lot of mental mistakes. Last year, not so much the problem. The yellow flags very much were flying for other teams. Wildcats were a very disciplined team last year, weren't shooting themselves in the foot all that often, and that helped them get that offense to control a lot of the games early on, where, again, it was just a dominant regular season last year.
That was Drake Dawson on the carry. I believe the 4th play of this offensive series for the Cats coming up. Cedar Crest leading 1-0. And as you're watching live on Go Mechanicsburg, also know that we are trying out some new internet this year. So we thought maybe we had some bugs worked out by the back end of last year. We're trying to see what this year looks like. Pass completed on the near side to about the 35-yard line. Always remember that games are recorded locally, so if ever there is a massive failure of technology, we will forge through and upload after the fact another flag on the play.
Sure, some of our more attuned fans remember the Shippensburg game last year and all the fun that occurred with that. So
I had another flat tire since that night. And would you believe that I never did change the lug nut situation, so as I tried to change the flat on my own, I ran into the exact same problem. But on the plus side, when I called AAA this time, I knew exactly what to tell them to bring because I knew what the problem was. I still haven't changed the lug nut situation, so probably should put that on the radar here this summer before it ends. Apple under center. Fakes the handoff to Drake Dawson. That pass complete in plus territory. A nice 40-plus yard pitch and catch from Noah Apple to whomever that young man was. He did a great job catching it.
But again, we saw that all the time last year, that faith in the quarterback's legs, being able to roll out, look downfield, just, again, another beautiful high-arcing pass. Receiver saw it all the way, had plenty of time to get it. He had that space between him and the defender right at the eyes. Nice, solid play all around.
Apple one more time in the shotgun. Three-step drop, scans the field. Short pass. Inside the 20 to the 19. Mechanicsburg looking to match the Cedar Crest score here on their first series from scrimmage for the starters.
As you can see in the bottom of your screen, Josh Smith taking some time to catch up with old friends and mentor the next wave of Wildcat football players. Obviously, a lot of these guys, such a tight-knit group last year that really didn't just stick with the seniors and the seniors staying with seniors, juniors staying with juniors, etc. Those guys from top to bottom were just one cohesive unit and stuff like that. When you can have a locker room that's all on the same playing field, all on the same level, in tune with each other, not afraid to talk and mentor and learn from each other, it goes a long way. Be interesting to see how these guys pick up the torch this coming year. But again, there were a lot of great players to learn from for these guys. An excellent example to follow.
And the handoff stuffed in the backfield. So we're coming up on play 7 or 8 of this series. And I noticed that the scoreboard here at Memorial Park and John H. Frederick Field had put points on the board. I see what they're doing now, so we'll go back to this.
Keeping track of the plays.
Yeah, they are. Those aren't points. Those are the plays. So we'll just go back to +1. We get a very skeleton outline of what's happening here. Very skeleton. So this is the 8th play of the series, or 8th down and 0 to go. Apple scrambling to his left. Has a receiver near the goal line, through his hands, and incomplete. There was actually a second Wildcat receiver in the vicinity, so nearly a deflected touchdown catch, but instead we advance to play number 9. And just a reminder, we are working out the kinks just as much on the broadcast end as we are on field. I think we are light years ahead of where we were last year at this time when we were at Cedar Crest.
Because we actually have a connection for
right.
one.
we went to Cedar Crest last year and quickly found out that Verizon does not work on their campus. So we've jumped to T-Mobile this year. Drake Dawson into the end zone. 1-point Wildcats on the 9th play of the series, which is the exact same play that Cedar Crest scored on. So we are 1 score apiece. Athletic Director Seth Pahanik here working the scoreboard at Memorial Park and John H. Frederick Field. Turned out to be a pretty beautiful day for sports. We have an air conditioner here in the Members First Federal Credit Union broadcast booth, and it has now made too much air conditioning. I'm cold.
Not too many folks complain about too much air conditioning in August, Mike.
Well, I just did. So 1 score each for these squads, and it looks like Mechanicsburg is going to concede their 10th play, or maybe that was their 10th play. Either way, the defense back on the field. If they are sticking to script, this should be the number 2s or backups. And for the Cats, again, a roster of young men that saw a lot of time last year. Taking a nice tight look at the Falcon offense. We will stay on the air with you till maybe about 12 o'clock. There's only so much we can talk about. Oh, and that's going to be potentially a hold and the Cedar Crest quarterback. That's not something, if you're head coach Nicholas Lambros, you want to see happen to your quarterback. The way he went down, starter or backup, that's a tough spot. So a holding call against Cedar Crest along the way and a sack for the Wildcats.
Thankfully, the quarterback just bounced right back up, which is always a good thing. It wasn't full speed. It wasn't somebody run into him. But, yeah, anytime you see kind of the knees buckle first and then a guy go down, that is not fun. But thankfully he's all right, gets right back up.
Hell, they're made of rubber at this age, man.
They like to think they are.
I know, right? Second play from offense here for Cedar Crest. And the pitch, running play to the outside. Tackled near the line of scrimmage. One of the Cedar Crest wide receivers had engaged nicely with a Mechanicsburg defender for a kind of an end cap block, a seal block to try to turn the corner, but another defender for the Wildcats came in and cut him down from behind. Fall sports in full swing. The Wildcat soccer teams scrimmaging today. The girls are over at Northside. And that is going to be credited as a sack. The officials blew the whistle to protect the quarterback. And the full fall sports schedules will kick off very, very soon. We know that football kicks off next Friday at Carlisle. First time back at Ken Millen Stadium in 2 years for the Wildcats. And Mechanicsburg looking to take down Carlisle for the second year in a row. Meanwhile, for the Carlisle Thundering Herd, back-to-back 1-9 seasons. So only one way to go for head coach Brandon Cook and the Thundering Herd here in 2025. Third play of the series for the Falcons. Handoff. Back met at the line. Spins out of one tackle. And flung down hard at the 34-yard line.
One of the Wildcats did a Brian Dawkins-esque tackle to bring the running back down. Was technically behind him, but leapt at full force. I believe he had all appendages off the ground and then just tackled him from the top. Back when I was playing rugby, I did a few of those in my day. They got the job done, but I very well could have easily just been thrown about as well.
There's a better way to do those things.
I think there was some mercy being shown those days.
Ball's on the carpet, and the fumble recovered by the Cedar Crest quarterback near the line of scrimmage. So it was a handoff. The running back surged forward without the most important piece of the process, and the quarterback was Johnny on the spot there to fall on it. So that running back for the Cats that got hurt on the second or third play from scrimmage is out of his gear with ice on his right shoulder. I think I know who it is, but because I don't have a roster, I'm not going to make an assumption. But hopefully it's just a little bit of a stinger, something that resolves itself over the next couple of days. And another whistle signifying a sack. So a nice job by that young man for the Wildcats, wearing number, I believe, 63 today.
Something about this second Wildcat unit, this defensive line has really gotten the jump on the second offensive line for Cedar Crest. They have really gotten to the quarterback, not a lot of time for him to think about. It's interesting to see that, obviously the first team's a little bit more evenly matched, if that's what we saw, but this second unit has really gotten the jump. I mean, watch right here. One of these guys, I bet you, is going to get to the quarterback right through. There you go, 67 Yep. Right there, got his hands on, but that was a matter of what? From the snap, maybe 2 to 3 seconds?
Absolutely, very quick, fast off the ball, and it's good as a lineman, especially when you're a down lineman right near the ball. You watch that ball, and you've got to have almost like a drag racer reacts to the tree on the drag strip. You watch that football, and you react. As soon as it moves, you go.
So hard to imagine that at this time of the year, with week one a week away, that guys are going to be making that jump from the second string to the first. But how much more confidence do you have as a coach when you can see that these guys are just as ready to go and you can have that rotation? Again, that's what we saw last year. A lot of these guys were comfortable enough being thrown into the first string, not having to wait till the game got out of hand on the score line. A lot of these names that we said, Stair, Dwyer, Dawson, DeLuca, Apple, and many more, we've said their names plenty of times. Coach Heckard was not afraid to rotate guys in and out, keep them fresh, making sure guys had fresh legs out there, nobody that was too tired or at risk of injury was going out there because they had to, because they were the only one at their position. There's great depth to this Wildcat squad, and I think it's showing right here in this second-string defensive showing we've been seeing so far.
We are up to play 8 for the Falcons and a whistle which will stop play, as I believe the Wildcat defense was short a player. Want to thank all of our great broadcast partners. We're not going to hear from them much today, if at all, but you do see their logos rotating on the bottom right of your screen. Great local businesses, and as always, I encourage you to support them in the ways that they have supported us. And the ball on the carpet, that handoff was missed, and another whistle. So this second team for Cedar Crest has had some struggles against the Wildcats as we come up on play 9. When you go into these businesses, tell them you heard about it on the Wildcat web stream. They appreciate it. We certainly appreciate it. And again, when you have a gathering of great local businesses like we do that support what we do to the extent that I am sometimes telling people, I'm sorry, we don't have room to accommodate you, that's a good thing. The demand is there because you tune in, so we thank you for that. 9th play from Scrimmage, inside handoff, and another sack. I mean, that has got to be, what, the 4th or 5th sack?
I think just about every other play on this drive was some kind of sack or forcing the quarterback. But there, I mean, the drive started at, what, the 20 to 25, and the Falcons did not even get to midfield. That's an impressive showing there by the second-string defense.
So now the 2s for the Wildcats come back out on the offensive side. And we'll see what that looks like. I do see Drake Dawson coming back out, so not sure how many times he'll get a chance to carry the ball here with this second group. And for the Wildcats, this field is one that they've been very familiar with here during summer camp because of construction at the practice facility on campus. There's going to be a new track coming in time for spring sports, but certainly in place probably before the end of fall. And with that, that's made that facility somewhat unavailable. So the football team has been practicing here on their game field. So they're certainly familiar with the settings in the backdrop here. Each team with a score.
I think, Mike, for as long as I've lived here, which is not a long time here in Mechanicsburg, about 5 years, there has been some kind of maroon and steel facility under some kind of construction.
I would agree. I moved into the district in 2017, and I think then it was Broad Street Elementary. You've seen some level of construction, but the entire district has gotten a facelift. And now even the community. I saw a post on Facebook yesterday as a flag is thrown on that first play for the Cats.
I think somebody was off sides. I don't know which side, but the referee was pointing the entire time, and I guess nobody looked up. So
I saw a Facebook post. Can you tell me what the worst street in the community is?
Hope it's not the one I live on.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And it's not because you live on it either. No. I would say that Keller Street by Broad, Keller and George near Broad Street, the worst streets in the community. All those years of construction, sinkholes, more construction. Well, I saw a Facebook post that apparently Keller and George are going to be paved very soon.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right?
I was not the squeaky wheel in this case.
But somebody was.
Somebody. Now, I did ask the borough at one point a year or two ago, with all the community facelifts that we see, when could we expect it? And they said, you wouldn't be the first one that's asked about this. It is on the schedule, and we've gotten there, I believe. So as we drive by Broad Street in the coming weeks or in the month or so, it might be nice again. Getting up to play 2 following that first play penalty, and it's a running play. And the fumble is recovered by the Wildcats. So some struggles on both sides for these 2s.
That was just a good tackle there by Cedar Crest. Again, it was another over-the-top tackle. The hand came right down on the ball. Nice peanut punch. Came right out. Thankfully, the Wildcats were awake for it. Got right back on top of it to recover. But again, this is the time to make those mistakes, or again to kind of make those great tackles. Obviously guys try to hold on to that ball as tight as they can, but a good punch, finding the right time, or again, maybe just didn't know that the defender was there getting over top of him. Some good defensive play we've seen so far in this early scrimmage.
Third play of the series. Here's another running play, and it goes nowhere. The Cats have only gained about 5 yards since their second series started. I want to thank Justin Robb, photojournalist from ABC 27, giving some time to come out today and work with our new camera operator. Teach him the ins and outs of how to shoot live sports. Justin and I go way back, roommates in college. His oldest son is a week younger than my oldest daughter, and our paths cross frequently, and Justin shoots a lot of local sports with the Harrisburg Senators and the Hershey Bears, and grateful that he was willing to give some time to come out today and work with our young, up-and-coming camera operator.
A lot of great folks at ABC 27. Of course, I'm biased.
You worked there once, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a nice little stint.
You had a cup of coffee?
Essentially.
A whistle as the left tackle moves. I look over at the numbers for our web stream, too. Ben, the last time we did a football game here in the Members First Federal Credit Union broadcast booth was that playoff loss against Bishop McDevitt 26-14, and I know that we probably got a little help with Poison frontman Brett Michaels tweeting out the game link, but over 10,000 views for that game that night in November as this run busts into the second level. A nice move by the back. If there were chains, they would have moved, and the tackle will give the Cats possession at the 48-yard line. And the official on the sideline telling the young men to make sure they stay out of the white ribbon, that is his space. Behind the white line is yours.
Right.
This space is mine. I saw him make kind of the gesture that during a game I would throw a flag on this. So it's a learning experience for everybody. So 10,000 plus views for that Bishop McDevitt game. I look over right now and 54. It's slightly different. But it's mid-morning Saturday. People are out cutting their crabgrass or whatever's growing in yards these days after it hasn't rained in a while.
Yeah, the most exciting thing I'm doing today is painting my carport ceiling.
Oh, that sounds...
This is the highlight of my day.
Sounds like a challenge. Nice pass completed. Another first down play. And the Cats in plus territory to the 30-yard line.
Back-to-back plays where the ball carrier has broken the initial contact. Obviously, that fantastic run by the running back, the play previous, breaking 2 to 3 tackles, and then that one was wrapped up. The receiver was wrapped up, but then again, just exploded through. And again, something I like seeing here is that both teams, they're fighting for every yard, even though it's just a scrimmage. At the end of that play, the receiver then leapt forward to try and get that extra 2 to 3 yard gain, acting as if it was maybe a 2nd and 15 situation or what have you. That's something you love to see as a coach, is even though you're not wearing your real number, this isn't going to count for anything. This is just to get in game form that you are playing like it is a game. You are fighting for every inch. You are battling for every position that you can get.
The yards after contact, the yards after carry, if you will. That pass is complete. I believe I saw a flag come in on the play on the near sideline.
And another one, again, wrapped up but escaped, bounced out, got another yard or two after it. It was another offside, I believe, against Mechanicsburg.
They're going to call a penalty against the Cats.
Again, the referee at the top of the screen was signaling, kind of waving, letting them know, as it was offsides on Mechanicsburg. So, in theory, would back them up 5 yards. So, a little bit of mental mistakes here or there with this second-string offense, just making sure that they're lined up. Again, last year it seemed like every time the Mechanicsburg offense went out on the field, every receiver was making sure they were checking with the linesman to make sure everything was all right. Again, not that Josh Smith ever needed that extra, yard advantage.
But he was a generational player.
Absolutely.
And so there's no one kid on this team that should think they need to live up to that. They can want to aspire to be that, but no one is expecting whoever the receivers are for the Cats this year to be what Josh was.
Which I think kind of plays into Mechanicsburg's hands a little bit, because this year the offense is definitely going to be spread out. There's not going to be that one go-to guy that in a crucial third down and long situation is most likely going to be the primary target. So defenses against the Wildcats this year are going to have to be very careful as to who they protect, who they double up if they choose to do so. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of use that to their advantage, that anybody could be a threat for the Mechanicsburg offense this year.
Well, and this was an offense, so many accolades last year. Josh Smith made the East-West All-Star game. Jimmy Dwyer, Eli Ryder, Josh Smith, and Colin Stair had all-state honors. There's something called the Mini Max Helmet Award winner, and that went to Eli Ryder. You had Mid-Penn Keystone All-Stars in the form of Josh Smith, Colin Stair. I mean, Josh Smith was the Division Player of the Year. Colin Stair was the Defensive Player of the Year. Dave Heckard was the Coach of the Year. I mean, it couldn't have gone much better for Coach Heckard in his rookie campaign. I mean, I just talked a few minutes ago what Coach Cook at Carlisle is looking like after back-to-back 1-9 seasons. Well, how about the pressure on Coach Heckard's shoulders coming in after an undefeated season? Drake Dawson on the carry. Drake turns the corner on what I believe to be the 9th play of the series and steps out of bounds. That would have moved the chains. So the Cats have maybe one more chance to put the ball in the end zone here with their twos on the field.
That will probably be the biggest question mark is, will the formula for success work without these all-star caliber players? And there's still very good players up there, and obviously he's chosen them for a very specific reason and for very specific duties. So it'll be interesting to see, was, I don't want to say a flash in the pan last year's success, but was their focus beyond the first string guys, which for all intents and purposes we think and hope that there was. So it'll be interesting to see how that gels this year.
High shotgun snap, pass towards the end zone, receiver open, overthrown, and incomplete. Well, and beyond that, and this is a talking point that you'll hear right now, one that Dave Harris and I will likely bring up next week, but the seniors for Mechanicsburg have not lost a regular season game since, I believe, October 6th of 2023, when they were sophomores. Because the Wildcats in that 2023 year, the last year with head coach Anthony Rose, when they went 5-5, won the last 3 games of that year. Of course, every regular season game of last season as well. So you're going back a while for these young men since they faced that kind of adversity in the regular season. Believe this is play 10 of the series for the twos. And it's a handoff to Drake Dawson. He tries to turn the corner, bouncing off an outside tackle, down inside the 3. And that will do it for the offensive twos for the Mechanicsburg Wildcats. And they showed us a little bit of something there. They came down the field. They had a really good run of it. And now there's going to be a water break for these young men. So I think this gives us an opportunity to step out, try to recognize a couple of sponsors as well. But before I do, Ben, what are your thoughts on what you just saw from the ones and the twos?
I think just, guys kind of shaking off the rust as you're supposed to expect from a scrimmage like this. Defenses for both teams, I think, have been very impressive. A lot of hard hits, a lot of forced fumbles that we've seen so far. Quarterbacks obviously still trying to figure some things out for both squads, but there's just been plenty of hustle for both of these teams. I want to say last year, maybe it was a little bit hotter. The rain was coming down a little bit more. This year, it seems like these guys really came to play and really came to do something. So be interesting to see what they do going forward, but a lot of hard-hitting action, and both these teams, I think, building off that success of last year, kind of want something to prove, So we'll be interesting to see how this second half of this scrimmage plays out.
So the teams off to their respective benches to get some water and take a rest. We're going to take an opportunity to recognize some of our great partners as well. You are watching Mechanicsburg Wildcat Football live on Go Mechanicsburg, the broadcast presented by 11 Oaks Farms in Newville. Back in a bit.
Are you on the hunt for a new home? Maybe you're a growing family looking to expand your living situation, or you find your current space too large and you're simply looking to downsize. Whatever your needs, contact Charity Kastner, Realtor with RSR Realtors today. Charity knows the local real estate market, and she will find the right home for you. Charity Kastner isn't just a Mechanicsburg-based realtor, she's a Mechanicsburg mom. And after all, mother knows best. Just ask her kids. Make the move today by calling Charity Kastner at 717-557-9312 or rsrrealtors.com to find your first or next home sweet home.
Locally owned and operated, 11 Oaks Farms raises Wagyu beef and heritage breed pork right here in Newville, Pennsylvania. Our low-stress practices and carefully designed diets produce some of the finest meats you will ever experience. We also offer a selection of quality Angus beef, pork, chicken, seasonings, sauces, pantry items, and much more. Shop online at 11oaksfarms.com. Visit us in-store at 34 North Corporation Street in Newville or call 717-360-8249.
getting you back to Mechanicsburg Wildcat Athletics, presented by 11 Oaks Farms in Newville. Live on Go Mechanicsburg.
Back at the Members First Federal Credit Union broadcast booth, Memorial Park, John H. Frederick Field. Mike Garland and Ben Shad hanging out. We thank you for tuning in. So we saw our series of 10s between the 1s and the 2s for Mechanicsburg and Cedar Crest. Now it's going to be special teams, or as it's being referred to as dead special teams, in that the plus side of it is going to happen, but there will be no negative side of it. There's going to be kickoffs and kick coverage, but there will be no returns or tackles. There will be snaps and punts, but no tackles. And there will be field goals, but no rushes. So it gives each team an opportunity to sort of work out those bugs. I remember last year at Cedar Crest, we saw a lot. And I chuckle when I think back to either whatever I said on air or something I said off about how we looked when we were punting and doing some of our special teams last year. And I think it worked out okay.
Didn't have to punt all that much last year. That was the beauty of the success. Who would have thought, It's like when you play Madden and you're just so dominant on defense that Al Michaels has to comment that it's like the 7th time you've dragged the punter out there.
So we don't know who the kickers are this year, but we do know there will be new ones, and that kickoff goes to the 10-yard line. Now they are sending.
I think they're just reversing, so now it'll be.
Or is this going to be punt team? Again, this is where we have a script, but until we see it, until we actually see what's happening, it's just, make it up as we go. The ball is being spotted at the 25-yard line. Cedar Crest has their offense out, and it looks like we're actually going to be running a down and distance first down and 10 for the Falcons. The ball on their own 25-yard line. First play from scrimmage, an inside handoff and a tackle for loss. Some pushing and shoving near the 29 between Noah Apple and one of the offensive players for Cedar Crest. But it looks like the clock is running, so this is going to bring up a second down situation. There are no sticks to mark down and distance, but we will try to keep it on the scoreboard at least here at the stadium. We do not have a score interface operator right now, so it just is what it is. Each team scored once during their early scrimmage reps. Second down and 13 after a loss of 3 for the Falcons. Quarterback in the shotgun, scans the offense, fakes the handoff, 2 steps to the right. That pass is high and completed near the 26-yard line, and a swarm of Wildcats converge on the tackle. Forward momentum will put the Cedar Crest offense at the 29, which will bring up a third down and about 6.
That was a great catch there by the Cedar Crest wide receiver. That was a high pass, had a lot of pace on it. Managed to get it, secured it with the gloves that stick like glue these days, and then with the swarm of Wildcats on him to hold that ball the entire time. It's not easy, especially when you have to go high up and bring it back down to your chest. 4 guys converging on you. It's easy for that ball to kind of get loose, jump around in there, but he held it all the way to ground.
Third down and 6 for the Falcons. A single back in the backfield, 1 wide receiver to the left. It's an inside handoff. That run is going to move the chains for the Falcons. First down and 10 after a gain of about 8. And the ball's going to be spotted at the 35-yard line. We've talked about some of those names from last year's success. We look down on the sideline and see at least Josh Smith. And he will be reporting to Princeton here in the coming days. Their season starts a little bit later than some of the big-time schools. I believe mid to late September is week 1 for the Ivies. First and 10 for the Falcons. It's a pass play rolling to his left. That pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of the receiver near the 40. And he went down hard, but he is up and shaking off some of those pellets from his eyes. The little rubber pellets that they put down on this turf, this synthetic field that most high schools have around the Mid-Penn Conference. Not too many teams still playing with grass. I believe Carlisle has grass. Northern Lebanon will have grass. And Northern, but we do not go to Northern this year. So First 2 games of the year will be on grass. Second and 10. Handoff. Good for about 4 yards. Noah Apple with the tackle.
Some interesting places we'll be going this season for Wildcat football, because we mentioned how Palmyra with the construction there, going to northern Lebanon. Lower Dauphin will be playing at Hershey Park Stadium, and then when we return to Hershey to play the Trojans, we'll be playing it just around the corner at Hershey's high school stadium.
And Hershey still doesn't necessarily have a high school stadium in the mindset of what you'd think. You know, they had, much like Mechanicsburg has on campus by the Wildcat Activity Center, they had a field where they would practice, and field hockey and soccer would play there. But Hershey, the company, is making a change. That pass incomplete on 3rd and 6. They have a bit of a change in direction with what they're doing at Hershey Park Stadium, and Lower Dauphin and Hershey were both given a window of notice. Hershey chose to go back on campus immediately. Lower Dauphin is staying a little while longer because Lower Dauphin, if you recall, Ben, from when we scrimmaged there a couple of years ago, they do have some semblance of a facility on campus, but youth sports play there, freshman football plays there. It's not quite a varsity football level facility, so I would imagine that is the space they're going to use. They just need to bring it up to speed with maybe some more bleachers. So, yes, I mean, we're going back to Waynesboro, which is a trip we made 2 years ago for the first time, and I was surprised then just how far off of 81 Waynesboro High School is. At least now I'm more mentally prepared when we go.
And how far off the 50 we were.
Well, we managed.
That's true. We made the best of it, but
once we made it through that in-game computer reboot, we were perfectly fine.
That too. Oh, we have some adventures, don't we?
So Cedar Crest punting on 4th down and 6. No rush on the punt. A wobbly punt fielded at the 30, so the Cats offense on the field, 1st down and 10. So I would love to think I know the 5 road games off the top of my head. I know we mentioned Carlisle, Palmyra at Northern Lebanon, Waynesboro, Hershey, and Lower Dauphin. Those are the 5. So there we go. And I don't know what broadcasting from Hershey Park Stadium is going to be like. Carlisle is challenging enough because the home bleachers at Ken Millen Stadium are large and far back from the sideline. I've actually asked about the possibility of us setting up on the visitor side at Carlisle. I mean, we know we can do such a thing at this point. We also know to put gas in the generator. But we
and open the vent.
And yeah, you know, a lot of things. Don't get a flat, you know, whatever. But I'm not confident that at Hershey Park Stadium I even want to be in the press box. That place is so ginormous. It might be best for us to just set up about halfway down the bleachers as the first play from scrimmage for the Cats is a running play on their timed down and distance. But it'll be exciting, too, because Hershey Park Stadium has so much history. The Eagles used to have training camp there. So many concerts and activities and events. The AHL's Winter Classic a bunch of years ago. So it'll be cool to be part of a facility that has so much history.
Absolutely. And I have a privilege with some of my other endeavors that I get to go to the other historical part of Hershey right there at the rink, but being able to see that stadium day in and day out just about every other weekend through the fall, winter, and even sometimes the spring months, it's definitely a lot of fun. And, you know, I know Cumberland Valley has been great hosting the fall championships, but just something about the size and spectacle of having those fall championships at Hershey Park, I'll always miss it. Even though I didn't go to high school in Pennsylvania, I still have some kind of nostalgia for it, if you will, even though Cumberland Valley, they are a great host and they are a great facility, and there's a lot of logistical sense that goes into that planning, and PIAA makes a great decision hosting it there year in and year out. But again, just something about Hershey just always strikes the chord.
3rd down and 11 for the Cats. That previous pass play fell incomplete through the hands of the receiver. 12:50 remaining. We may see 2 timed 20-minute sessions, but we know we at least have 1. And we'll stay on the air with you through about 12 o'clock, give or take. High shotgun snap. Apple rolling to his right. Sidearms it. It's complete, and that's going to be a penalty for a late hit. So the Cats are going to get a 1st down as the receiver was down and the defender there for the Falcons came in a little bit late, made contact, and that's one that even here in the scrimmage, you got to throw the flag for that one.
Yeah, and thankfully, I think everybody knowing that it's a scrimmage, there was no harm intended. No, obviously there was a foul, but it was kind of funny. The receiver just got up and looked at the referee. He's like, you going to call that? Because it was a little bit late. But again, that's a learning experience. Now that, young gentlemen will know, all right, when a guy's already on the ground trying to make the catch, maybe I don't need to be the secondary guy to come in and try and jar it loose. Learning experience for everybody, but Wildcat Drive gets new life because of the penalty.
First down and 10 for the Cats. The ball on their own 45-yard line. Noah Apple under center. Two backs in the backfield. Fumbles the snap, falls on it. No, he doesn't. Cedar Crest football. At first, it looked like he was going to get on it because it would have been right there under center, but instead it trickled to the right of the center and recovered by the left side of the Cedar Crest defense. So first turnover of the scrimmage, so to speak, and it'll be Cedar Crest possession, first down and 10 from the Wildcat 45-yard line.
I was just about to say the quarterback there looked like he was kind of going through a certain snap count rotation. There were a couple huts in there and hadn't snapped yet, and I think that ball was snapped to him a little bit earlier than he wanted because it didn't even seem like it made it to his hands. It just seemed like it was just dropped at the first motion. Easy pickings for the Falcons, and they'll take over at the 45.
Well, a quarterback under center wasn't something we saw a lot of last year, either with Eli Ryder or Noah Apple, a lot of shotgun offense. First down and 10 for the Falcons, the ball at the Wildcat 45, shotgun snap, and the handoff, it was a fake. It faked out everybody. Quarterback keeper takes it to about the 34-yard line. I want to see something right now. I'm going to hit the replay button. It did not fake out our cameraman. Yeah.
That's better than what I would have done last year. I fell for those fakes all the time.
A nice little, the Wildcat defender had the running back tackled in the backfield. I followed the back. Our cameraman followed the ball. This kid's on to something.
He just might be. I might be out of a job soon.
There you go. We appreciate you sitting in today with us. Same play, quarterback keeper, this time tackled near the line of scrimmage. A loss of maybe one. Should bring up third down and about 3. When the scoreboard was turned on, Ben, it took me back, and I wasn't even here, but the last time you were here would have been graduation in June. It still had all the 25s on it. That was literally the last setting in the scoreboard before it got reset for today's scrimmage.
Always a good time being able to cover the graduation a little bit earlier in the day than folks had wanted. That Mother Nature
That's right, it had gotten
wreaked havoc
postponed
that weekend. But even that Sunday, it honestly turned out to be a nicer day than people had maybe originally thought. But always a good time being able to cover the graduation, the happy families, all that, reminiscing on the years that you and I have.
Inside handoff moves the chains for the Falcons, and a gain of about 10 to 12 yards, tackled at the 19-yard line, 8:56 remaining on the game clock. I don't really know what happens when we get to 0. Just keep doing football stuff, I guess. But we do know that next week we will be on the air, 6:10, 6:15 time frame. You're going to sit down with Jeff Pratt from the Wildcat Foundation. I will catch up with head coach Dave Heckert. We'll talk a little bit about last year and look forward to what this year is going to bring as well. And then we will kick things off from Ken Millen Stadium with the Wildcats and the Carlisle Thundering Herd. Single back in motion. That back takes the pitch, tries to turn the corner. There's a block in the back, but no call. And the play will be whistled dead near the 14-yard line. So second down and I don't know, 4, 5, somewhere less than 10 yards to go.
Second and medium.
4 is the answer. 4 is the answer. Quarterback in the shotgun, single back, sidecar left. Fakes the handoff into the end zone, and it is caught, but, well, the official's going to say touchdown. I'm not sure if we got it on camera. We'll take a look. That corner is always, as you were saying pregame. Yep, there it is, right behind the pillar of the structure.
And it really was in that very back corner of the end zone. There's nothing you can do about that here until they put something down on the roof of this press box. But I think I need to win some lottery tickets before that's a reality. But that was a great pass. Again, we've been seeing a lot of those high arcing ones that the receivers have been able to go up and get for both teams. Question of whether or not maybe his toe kicked up the turf. Maybe that's what the referee saw. It was very close. I think for a scrimmage, you might as well give it to him. But in a real game, that probably would have some of the Wildcat faithful saying some not so positive things.
The extra point is up and good. That's the third time that Cedar Crest has done something that resembles scoring. So 6:28 remaining on what is literally a running clock. It didn't even stop after that score. Cedar Crest has 3 points and Mechanicsburg has 1. And you have competitive roots when you're keeping score by ones at a football scrimmage. This is by choice, by the way. No one told me to do this, but it gives me something to do in addition to making sure we have no dropped frames. And I think we're generally doing okay here.
A lot better than we were last year, that's for sure.
I can't really see the screen because of my vision is suffering as I get older, and the sun. I know there's no sun, but the glare. It'll be better when it's dark. So what do you got going on today? You said you're painting the ceiling of your garage?
Might paint the carport ceiling if it's not too humid, which it's all right for now.
Going to cut the grass or anything?
I did that Wednesday.
Okay. Now, Ben went on vacation this summer, and at one point I went for a walk past his house while he was on vacation, and I didn't want to text you and bother you too much, but I thought, man, you're going to have to cut that grass at least twice.
Oh, yeah. No, it was so bad that when I did the first initial cut, there was that one patch in the front yard. It ate up the mower so bad that it died like 3 times because
you clogged it out.
It just got so and there was no dry days either. That was the other issue.
Okay.
Like there were no dry days.
Right, like it was raining a lot during that window.
It was raining, or it was just so humid that like the morning dew would just never go away. So it just ate up the mower. And so that was a solid, like it finally just got back to normal when I mowed it this Wednesday, and it was the driest I had ever mowed it since becoming a homeowner this year.
And now your yard's going to be dead for the rest of the summer, probably.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I cut my grass last Saturday. I've got a lot of tree roots and stumps and things that stick out, and the lawnmower repair place here in Mechanicsburg, I had to get like a season pass punch card to that place. So he had just... First of all, I blew the engine in my one mower earlier this summer, so I'm borrowing the neighbor's mower. And maybe I should actually treat my mower as well as I treat my neighbor's mower every time I borrow. So I get a new mower. I take it to get it tuned up, repaired. Again, like new, it's used. I'm not buying a new mower. That's an expense I'm not taking on. And like as soon as I get to the front yard, I hit a stump, and I bent the blade. I mean, I had just gotten the mower that morning. So I finished cutting the grass too low with a bent blade. I mean, it looks like Edward Scissorhands cut my yard. I immediately took the blade off, went back to the mower place. Well, first of all, I tried to go to the hardware store because I was too embarrassed to go back to the mower place. But the hardware store didn't have what I needed. So I went back to the mower place with my head down and in shame, and I brought my youngest daughter with me to help soften the blow a little bit. And she threw me under the bus right away. She's like, he broke it. He broke it. So I got a new blade and whatever. Now it's just all crabgrass. First down and 10 for the Cats. Drake Dawson takes the handoff, and he's up to about the 23-yard line, a gain of maybe 2.
Well, it's like, you know how when you're driving on the road and you see like the novice driver stickers on cars? Like, I feel like I need one of those, like, first-time homeowner. I'm not even 30 yet. Like, please give me some leeway. And also, I'm working with a lot of hand-me-down equipment. Our weed whacker and leaf blower came from one of the many rummage sales that all the area churches host. I can't remember which one, but my wife got that for me for $15 along with batteries that are good for about 20 to 30 minutes on a good day.
Yeah, you're being environmentally friendly.
Right.
Second down and 8, handoff, the carry to the left side, turns the corner. The Cats are going to pick up the first down and get to about the 44-yard line, but there is a penalty on the backside of the play, which would probably explain why the running back was able to turn that corner.
probably a holding it back, and Wildcats already walking back beyond where the ball was. So,
and we're going to have a hold on the offense. So you have the environmentally friendly batteries to manage equipment that you bought at a rummage sale.
Right, and then a hand-me-down mower that literally one of our neighbors just put out to pasture in front of their house with just a free on it. And my wife was like, well, we need a mower. And I was like, I don't even know where I was. I was somewhere, probably doing a broadcast or something. And I was like, well, grab it. So I've been working with a hand-me-down mower and hand-me-down other lawn equipment. But so far, it's been working out. But also, sadly, I never paid enough attention to my old man when he had the mower to how the gas and the oil worked.
Okay.
So there was an unfortunate, as we have a false start there against
flag
the
on the play.
Wildcats.
Well, I probably didn't put oil in my engine of the old mower, which would be why it blew up. I have just a regular gas and oil mower. But
see, you put too little. I put too much in mine because
that can also be a problem if you're not careful.
I started it, and it looked like Mechanicsburg had a new pope.
Oh, nice.
And so my neighbor, who is very attuned to all things mechanical, shout out to Sean, great man. He was been a huge help for my wife and I in this new house adventure that we are in.
Running play on 2nd and 15.
The smoke literally went down the street, and he was like, is there something going on with your mower? And I was like, yes. Took a picture of the dipstick. He's like, oh, you have way too much oil. But thankfully, I know how to get rid of oil. So just bring it down in like an hour.
Okay.
And we've fixed it. And now I know that, I don't need to top it off like gas. I need to be very gentle and just like drip feed it, essentially.
I feel like when I walk into the mower place, I'm like the lyrics to that Taylor Swift song. Like, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. 90 seconds left in this timed series. It's 3rd down and 14. A couple of penalties for the Cats. Noah Apple in the shotgun. His feet standing on the 15-yard line. Takes the shotgun snap clean. One step. That pass is going to be underthrown and intercepted. And Cedar Crest returning it to about the 30-yard line. Had the right idea there, but just a little bit underthrown. And that pass picked off. So it'll bring up a 1st down and 10 for the Falcons.
I was going to say, I would have liked to have seen the Wildcats take a shot there with, time winding down, 3rd and long, and be interesting to see if maybe quarterback waited for that play to just develop a little bit longer. I feel like the wide receiver was on his way to getting more and more separation, could have bombed that one out. But again, we're in high school. The arms can only go so far when it comes to letting it fly. But again, time to make mistakes like that. You'll know to give a little bit more oomph, as John Madden would say, on the ball.
Oomph. So it's 1st down and 10 for the Falcons. The ball at the Wildcat 30-yard line. This is the 2nd turnover for the Wildcats during this timed series. So, again, the 2nd time that Cedar Crest has started in plus territory, but there's going to be a sack on that play. And what we saw there, that sack, that's almost where we are in today's NFL. The defender just reached in, touched the quarterback, and there was a whistle. So 2nd down and 15. And I get that these quarterbacks are a pretty important part of the offense, but 33 seconds remaining. Shotgun snap, quarterback rolling to the left. That pass completed to an open receiver at about the 27-yard line. A gain of 8. 3rd down and 7 or so. 3-1. Cedar Crest has the advantage. But hey, who's keeping score? So the Falcon offense breaks the huddle. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right of the quarterback, 1 to the left, plus a back in the backfield. Can always appreciate a back wearing number 54. That pass is... there's a lot of things about that pass, and complete wasn't one of them. It might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. That may have led to the end-over-end nature of it.
If it had the gas that it needed, it most likely would have been picked off because there were at least 2 Wildcats in the area. If somehow the receiver did come away with it, there would have been another one ready to tackle. So not necessarily a sellout pass, but kind of good that it was underthrown at the feet.
make your plans for Wildcat football this year. We mentioned the first 2 games on the road. We are home on September 5th against Mifflin County. That will be the home opener for the Wildcats. Talking about stadiums, I'm looking forward to going back to Mifflin County next year. They have a brand new facility on campus. Saw some pictures yesterday. It looked beautiful. That pass complete should be a first down for the Falcons into the red zone and tackled at the 15-yard line. So a couple of dates to note. September 19th, the game against Gettysburg. That is the salute to service night. October 3rd against Northern will be homecoming, and then October 24th against Shippensburg will be senior night. And the Cats have 3 home games in the month of September, the 19th, the 26th, and the 3rd. So make your plans to come out. And, oh, by the way, if you enjoy watching the Wildcat Marching Band, either during pregame or halftime of the home games, they have a home band festival or showcase on the 27th here at Memorial Park. So put that on your calendar, and hopefully we'll have more details to share on that in the coming weeks. The clock has hit 0. Play continues. Lob pass into the end zone, and it is caught. Tipped and caught for another Cedar Crest score. Wow. You can see the defender got a hand on it. And again,
and yes, he made that
the
catch.
Magical mystery catch behind the pillar. Well, we'll have to teach our young cameraman that sometimes you just have to lean the thing forward.
He's trying.
Oh, hey, first day on the job, he's doing way better than I could do.
Right. Or maybe we just got to saw a hole through that thing.
We got to get permissions. I'm not sure I can.
They really know.
I think if I augmented the facility to the point that it involved a saw, someone would notice. And that someone is sitting to our left.
That's true. You could be taking notes for all we know.
Right. I don't know how soundproof this glass is. So the Cedar Crest Extra Point PAT team on the field. And each team will have their opportunity to practice field goals and extra points coming up as well. Extra point kick is up and over and good. So 5-1 as these things go. First day of school is on Tuesday for the district. I'm sure mixed feelings by many on that. I can't believe how fast the summer's gone, and I think that everybody says it. I think it happens more when you're older, when you have kids, when they're involved in activities. I mean, I don't know. You're younger and no kids. Does summer go fast for you?
For some reason, this one specifically felt like it went by in a flash.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. It's not like I had a 2-week vacation, but that was about it. All the other times I was working and then just went home to my house. Maybe it's because I had a house instead of an apartment. I wasn't, sweating bullets because I have central air. I don't know, but it just felt like this one breezed by. But I'm excited for the school year to start. I'm excited to get back into broadcasting. I'm excited to pick up all these Wildcat sports and obviously all the other endeavors that I get myself in, so that way I have as little free time as possible for both good and bad reasons.
I have that same problem, the lack of free time. I mean,
but yeah, I've been itching. I've been itching for this scrimmage. I've been itching for week 1. Been itching for all my other things to get into gear. As soon as I got back from my vacation, essentially was the end of July, you were like, hey, what's your schedule looking like? And then I was like, oh, well, if Mike's asking me, I better ask all my other folks what they want out of me.
'Tis the season, right? We in fact, I just sent you an email yesterday about field hockey and volleyball and soccer, and we're making our plans and filling in the blanks. And I know that I don't have a fully free weekend until like the second week in November.
I think the only one that I'm doing, I'm going down to Rehoboth Beach, and then that'll be it for my free time. So. But again, I was excited. I kind of wanted the summer to come to an end. So, very exciting time. Hopefully all of you who are tuning in, I mean, if you're watching this, then you'll probably be along for the ride for a lot of other things we do. So
yeah, we do appreciate that for sure. So the Wildcats back on the field. And I don't know if we're going to have another timed down situation.
Well, there's nobody there to man the clock.
No, that guy left. Everyone left. Literally everyone in charge has left the press box.
Do you think they got tired of us?
One of us. But which one?
They weren't forced to be here. They have free will for this kind of stuff.
So Cedar Crest back out on the field. There's a young man wearing a very bright T-shirt, and another young man wearing very bright gloves and cleats. Like the highlighter factory has visited the uniform room here. There's blue shoes, there's pink shoes, there's a neon green jersey. I don't know what we got going on here, but we'll stick with it for a little while longer. We got a pitch. Pink shoes. Tackled at the 24-yard line. And the fans making some noise, having a good time. And a nice little crowd here for Cedar Crest. It's certainly not a short drive from the Cedar Crest campus. And if I remember right, not necessarily a direct one either.
No. We definitely had some back roads that we had to manage to get to Cedar Crest last year. Kind of adding to the lack of mobile coverage we had under our old system. But good crowd on hand for both these teams.
That pass complete to Pink Shoes here on the near side. And a flag on the field. Now, would that be pink, or what's a more appropriate color there?
No, that's pink.
Pink is okay?
That is highlighter pink shoes.
Okay, well, highlighter pink.
They're a little bit. The gloves are a little bit mismatched now that he's gotten closer to the sideline.
Oh, two different shades of pink.
The gloves are a little bit softer. I don't know if maybe because they sat in the sun. And then the mouth guard.
Oh, there's a mouth guard?
The mouth guard, I believe, is pink as well.
Okay.
Very color-coordinated individual.
Well, good for him. That'll go great with those blue and white uniforms they'll wear this year. I know Dave and I would always talk about how high school football has changed since when we were younger, and he's a little bit older than me, but the idea of teams used to do 2 scrimmages during preseason camp. You didn't have heat acclimation. You had get out there and beat each other up for 1 week, then play a scrimmage on Saturday as that pass is complete to Pink Shoes over on the far sideline. So you'd have, last Saturday, where it was the first Saturday after their heat acclimation week, you'd play a scrimmage on that Saturday, like a full contact scrimmage. Then you'd come back for another week of 2-a-days, then you'd play another scrimmage, and then you'd start school and have week 1. So it's changed a little bit. What was the movie that had Tom Berenger where he was Bear Bryant at Texas A&M? Was that the Junction Gang? Is that what that was called? You have to look it up. But it told the story of when Bear Bryant coached Texas A&M, and certainly in an era where no one believed in water breaks in the Texas sun. You can only imagine. Flag on the play as the Norfolk Southern train rolls in from the west.
Yeah, part of my vacation, I went out to the west. And flying over Las Vegas, there are, I don't know how many baseball fields in Las Vegas.
They stand out.
But I can't imagine, I know it probably doesn't get to 110 degrees in March, April, but it must in May.
It does in the summer.
When do they play baseball? They cannot be playing baseball in that heat. I couldn't walk across the street to a casino without breaking a sweat. I can't imagine playing a full 9 innings.
That pass complete. Picking it at the apex. That receiver brings it in at about the 48 and then surges forward to the 49 in the plus side, or the 51 if this were Canada.
And I know we have humidity here, and that factors into things.
Oh, it's different. It's just different.
There's some feel-like days, but man, that desert sun,
it's unforgiving.
Those kids that's got to be a different breed out there, because not every baseball stadium out there had lights.
No, but you know what? None of that is real grass either. That's all green turf,
which only makes it worse.
Hotter, yes,
right,
yes.
Because the natural grass can at least absorb some of that heat, whereas that turf is you might as well just be playing on tinfoil.
And natural grass absorbs it and it dies. And a whistle as the Wildcat defense being encouraged to nudge back a bit. I went to Vegas 2021 or 2022 in June or July, and there was one day where it was the heat index was 117. Lob pass complete on the near sideline, contact immediately, a gain of 1 on the play for Cedar Crest. I've got a friend that lives in Vegas. I might text him one of these days and ask, just in general with the heat, when do youth sports
How do
their
kids
thing?
survive? How do they do it?
Right. I mean, I think about it now, it's hot, it's 95. Yeah, well, it's not Vegas hot. Well, it's a dry heat. Well, okay, so's my oven, but I wouldn't put my head in there when it's 120 degrees.
Yeah.
Cedar Crest with the ball at the Wildcat 49-yard line. Back goes in motion. Inside handoff. And that back bumps into his own lineman before gaining 4. And the ball will be spotted at the 45-yard line. Stick with you for about 25 more minutes here live on Go Mechanicsburg. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, get the word out. The fall sports season is upon us. Football, field hockey, soccer, volleyball, cross country, golf, girls tennis, marching band. That's a lot. I hope I didn't forget something. I've met me. I'm sure I did. But certainly not intentional. If anything, it was accidental that I remembered that many things. Shotgun snap, 3-step drop, flag in the play. Pass completed in the flat. A nice little spin move by the receiver, and he is gang tackled at the 39-yard line, but I think this play is coming back.
That's something I remember I noted a lot last year with this Mechanicsburg squad is the defense and the gang tackling, that nobody is expected to make the tackle on their own, that once that receiver gets the ball or once that running back breaks through the line, that everybody has to go over to that ball and either try and jar it loose or at least stop it from progressing. Nice to see that that's still the case here with this squad, is that every time a Cedar Crest player has gotten the ball, that there have been multiple Wildcats in the area or converging to the ball to make sure that it stops as soon as it can.
Shotgun snap. 4-step drop. Quarterback retreats. Now it's a screen, and the pass is incomplete, and every flag on the field has been thrown. Although I'm not sure what the back judge is throwing a flag at. I get that the guys up front are throwing for a hold, but did he catch it way back there as well? We got a hold on the offense. We have a hold on the defense. Those two holds delete each other, redo the down. That's what he was throwing. There was a defensive hold.
Thought there might have been one for intentional grounding.
But here's what I've never understood. Holding on the offense is, what, 10 yards? 5 yards?
5 yards.
5 yards. Holding on the defense is 10 yards. Why do the penalties offset?
Yeah.
If there are 2 holding penalties, why does one get declined? Right? Like if I commit 2 felonies, they don't usually drop one, right? They charge you with both.
Well, the laws of football and the laws of the land are very different things.
That's true. If I commit a holding penalty, I can still broadcast in week 1. If I commit a felony, probably not. That pass complete. Woo. Big hit on the near sideline. Just it's Arsenio Hall used to always say, those things that make you go, right? Like, why this but not that? You sat here and explained in depth before we went on the air the rules of old-timey baseball that you participate in.
Right.
And it makes me wonder, how did we get from that to what is today's baseball?
And even back then, first base was still 90 feet away.
Okay.
That's probably still the greatest mystery to me, is that
why is it 90 feet?
How did they figure out that 90 feet was the perfect distance from home plate to run to, because think about how dramatic a foot one way or the other would make the game, like just the absurd changes that it would be on the most routine play.
Right.
That if you bring it 1 foot closer, batting averages skyrocket, and games would never end because too many runs would be scored.
That pass nearly tipped at the line of scrimmage, and maybe was, as it falls short. And then you explain your rules of baseball. I feel like I know today's modern game rules pretty well, and I've been watching Banana Ball lately. And that's just a whole different cup of tea. Well, there's a guy from Elliotsburg, West Perry area, that's in that Banana League, plays for the Firefighters. And he got the win last week as the Firefighters beat the Savannah Bananas.
Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were like the Harlem Globetrotters, where they have like a 500-game winning streak that dates back like
no, it's
60 years.
Have you watched Banana Ball? Have you given it time and attention?
Not really,
okay.
No. I'm not going to lie.
You should try that. They play every weekend. I think it's on YouTube. You should check it out. They play real baseball. They play legitimate baseball. to an extent.
Right.
The guy that's in charge of the Bananas, I think his name is Jesse Cole. He says that, I don't want to be called the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. I mean, in some ways, you absolutely are. Right? You are a show. Vince McMahon coined sports entertainment. Well, that's what Banana Ball is. It's sports entertainment. Check it out sometime. Should be fun. So the Cats get the ball back. First down and something. Shotgun snap. Forthcoming. Little high. Misdirection play, and the quarterback gives himself up at the 19-yard line. So I think we're looking at some kids that might be the threes, some of the JV kids. Still important for them to get those reps and get a lay of the land. And the kids that are JVs were more than likely midget football players last year. So it's a big difference. It's a big jump from where they were last year to what they have now. So second play, shotgun snap forthcoming. Quarterback rolling to his right. Gets the pass free. It's caught at about the 35-yard line.
Some great downfield vision there by the quarterback, because there were about 3 receivers for Mechanicsburg in that area. One essentially at the line of scrimmage, one past the first down marker, and the one he hit in the middle. But there was just a brief window of space where the Falcon defense opened up that receiver in the middle, and he managed to choose him out there, give him a nice bullet pass right at the eyes, came down with it. That's a good look, because that's not an easy thing to do when you have so many receivers in the same area and therefore so many defenders in there as well. But he found that open window and managed to hit his man perfectly to move forward.
Third play coming up. As the sun begins to peek through the clouds here at Memorial Park. And a whistle as the officials reset. Good luck with your carport painting today. Make sure you stay hydrated. Take some music with you. Inside handoff across the line of scrimmage, but met not long thereafter. A gain of 2 or 3.
The good news is it's just a second coat. So,
okay.
Well, I already did the hard part where I had to peel all the old paint off.
Ugh.
And it was like, oh, well, we just had a couple things that were hanging over or whatever. So it's like, oh, I'll just scrape those off and I'll be good. And then it ended up being, I'll say 80% of the carport ceiling ended up just giving up and peeling off, which is a good thing because I got rid of the old stuff.
Okay.
So I don't need to worry about just essentially throwing a new coat on something that doesn't have any protective adhesive properties. So, but it's just the second coat today just to kind of, because I bought the whole can, I might as well use it.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's not going to be an all-day project, thankfully.
Quarterback keeper, contact in the backfield, and a trio of Falcons swarm to the ball carrier for a loss on the play. Now you have a very curious cat named Hank. Does Hank come outside at all?
We think he wants to, but we don't want to open up that can of worms. Because,
or the door in that case.
Right. The fear is that when we let him outside, he'll never want to come back inside.
Fair enough. And there's things outside that could mess with him.
So, but we have nice big windows in our house that he spends a good portion of his day at. So he'll probably watch me do a little bit of the painting, and then he'll probably get bored and then try and get entertained by some birds and squirrels in the backyard or whatnot. Or he just might sleep. I don't know.
All of those options sound fun. Can I come over and watch you paint and then sleep as well? Take a nap? I did get up early. Shotgun snap. Beautiful Saturday morning. Pass is completed at the 40. Woo! A couple of nice moves by the receiver across the 45, tackled at the 46. That was a nice football play there for the Cats.
Anytime you can get a defender on his backside, that's always a good feeling. I did that once in my rugby years, and that guy probably felt no greater shame. Sadly, he was my teammate.
Oh.
It was during practice, but I hit him with a little, as Donovan McNabb coined, the shake and bake. I kind of just did a little stutter step, and I had the ball over to my left, just shunted it to my right, and he bit the entire way.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he was a year or two ahead of me. And, like, I remember looking back, and he just held his head
He went
in
home
shame.
and cried to his mom.
He's like, I can't believe I let Ben Shad hit a juke on me.
It happens. Shotgun snap, quarterback rolling to his right under pressure, hits the receiver near the line of scrimmage, a gain of 1, maybe 2 on the play. I mean, I once tackled a guy that played in the NFL. He ran into me and we fell down together, but it still goes down as a tackle. He went on to play in the NFL. At that moment, he was still just a high school kid.
Still,
He was a high school man.
That's
at that
something,
point.
yeah.
I have those moments, those memories, those Al Bundy stories. So the official talking with the quarterback, which it's cool that you have these learning moments as well. It's one thing for the young men to listen from their coaches, but for the official to be, talking to the line, talking to the quarterback and saying, hey, try this, or this is what we're looking for, or here's why you can't do this, otherwise it's a penalty.
And this is something I wish more fans at all levels really saw, was that this is also a scrimmage for the referees too. They are also figuring things out. But when they can have these understandings with the players and the coaches, because these crews, they are regular in a sense. It's not going to be, you're not guaranteed a different crew every week. You're going to run into some repeat referees every once in a while, so you get to know them on a personal level, and not that that's going to instill a bias towards one team or another, but when you know that that's what that referee looks for, or if he likes things a certain way, or if he's going to call something as soon as he sees it, you can prepare for that, and you can have that understanding and ultimately have a cleaner game going forward. Like, these aren't just guys that come out here and want to screw over the game and target your team as much as, sadly, a lot of folks that do go into the stands like to project when something doesn't go their way.
Yeah, no one's here to get you.
Right.
Shotgun snap, a little bit high, quarterback stepping back, rolling to his right, scrambling, lets it fly, and the pass is going to fall just a little bit short of the intended receiver.
Yeah, it was too high for one receiver, too low for the other one further downfield, so again, it's tough always when you're rolling out, trying to throw it while you're in motion.
So we reset what the schedules look like. We talked about Mechanicsburg's schedule a couple of times. Next week, opening at Carlisle, then traveling to Palmyra for a Saturday game, traveling to Northern Lebanon to take on Palmyra for a Saturday high noon game. Home against Mifflin County in Week 3, then Lower Dauphin Week 4, Gettysburg Week 5. Back half of the schedule, Week 6, it's Redland, Week 7, Northern, Week 8 at Waynesboro, Week 9 at Hershey, and then Week 10, Shippensburg. Is that
timer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how long you were out.
Yeah, I mean, hi, we're back. If you stayed with us, I mean, why? But also, thanks. We're back. It dropped off.
We were just saying some great things about all these people and, really highlighting some great folks in the community, and then blip, all for nothing. So,
hold on. See if I can get Athletic Director Seth Pahanik's attention. I just realized we got this new hotspot yesterday, and I opened up the packaging, and where's the SIM card? I can't find the SIM card. How do you make the SIM card work? You know what I didn't do? Flip it over.
I've never seen a punch-out SIM card before.
It was the SIM card that I was supposed to insert into this thing was attached to the stupid box.
Well, again, they should have said that in the directions, though. Oh, well.
I mean, there probably were directions. I don't know that I read them. All right. Maybe now is when we just go off the air. It was good for a minute. Well, we already now. Anyways. Looks like Mechanicsburg.
We made a commitment that nobody heard except for us.
I know, right? Well, we'll stay with it. If Mechanicsburg's offense is going to come back out, we'll stay with it through this series. But we did pretty good there. But, we had this problem with last year's hotspot where it overheated.
Maybe it just needs its own lunchbox.
I mean, it was sitting here. How does that happen?
Well, you did turn the AC off.
I did. I'll turn it back on real quick.
Because now that the sun's out, I'm starting to get a tad uncomfortable, which does not forebode well for the painting I have to do later. Oh, great
Beautiful pass down the middle.
Go on, son.
And the Cats are going to put a point on the board. An 80-yard pitch and catch from the quarterback to the running back. Points, Cats. Haven't seen scoring on the Wildcat side for a while. That was beautiful.
A lot of focus on the short game for both teams on this scrimmage, but that time, just take a shot. Go for it. Why not? And that was beautiful. And 2 breaks from the defenders, too, from the wide receiver. He had to escape the foothold from one defender, and then there was another one trying to wrap him up. He just managed to get away from both. Great play there from the Wildcats, and I think the offense is just going to keep rolling.
Reverse skate. Go the other way. Run the same play. So here we go again. Quarterback in the shotgun. And that running back gobbled up by the Cedar Crest front line. That young man for the Falcons grabbed him by the jersey, and that was the end of that. You go nowhere. Got another play forthcoming. Again, we'll stay with you through the end of this series. Well, a little Wi-Fi hotspot is back. That is just the one thing over the years we have not been able to master is the perfect internet coverage to make this possible.
Well, we can't have everything.
I know. But we do need the one thing that
it is a crucial aspect.
Puts the broadcast on the YouTube. Interception for the Cats. 3rd turnover. And that'll be... that's going to just about do it for us, Ben. I think that's a good opportunity for us to sort of wrap it up. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today and for helping make this broadcast possible. Thanks to our young up-and-coming camera operator as well for his efforts today. I think we'll keep him. What do you think?
Yeah, so far he's passed the first test.
Okay, all right.
Not a bad first showing, so we'll see how the next weeks go. But quick learner seems to be.
And we want to thank and share appreciation for everyone that tuned in. You know, that interception doesn't end the series for the Cats, but probably a good opportunity for us to wrap things up here as well as we close in on high noon. Hope everybody has a great Saturday afternoon. We will talk to you next week from Ken Millen Stadium, on the campus of Carlisle High School. Pregame starts just after 6 p.m. Dave Harris will join me as the Cats turn the ball over one more time. Have a good day, fans. Thanks for tuning in live on Go Mechanicsburg.
This has been a presentation of Mechanicsburg High School Wildcat Athletics, presented by 11 Oaks Farms in Newville, Bobby Ray Hall Automotive Group, Charity Kastner RSR Realtors, your neighborhood Chick-fil-A at Shepherdstown Crossing, Lawnscapes Inc., Members First Federal Credit Union, Operation Wildcat, OSS Health, now with 2 locations on the West Shore, Mechanicsburg Area Recreation, RBC Wealth Management and the Turnbridge Group, Renewed Hearing Solutions, Sheets, Snappers Bar and Grill, Seth Gardner State Farm, your Harrisburg True Green Lawn Care, Westshire Decks, servicing all of Central PA, the Wildcat Foundation, and Wolf Brewing Company. The Mechanicsburg Wildcats. Presented by 11 Oaks Farms in Newville on YouTube at Go Mechanicsburg. We'll see you again